I'm out of the trailer. If you're looking for a jump starter that's going to be reliable, compact, and it's always going to be charged when you need it, then Projecta's Intelli-Start Jump Starters are going to be a great option for you. So let's check them out. So Projecta's has a ton of different options when it comes to jump starters. Now this one today is going to be more catered for someone who has maybe a lot of different types of vehicles on hand, because this is going to work with gas engines that are at most 7 liters and diesel engines that are 5 liters. So this has a pretty broad range of what it can work with. But even though it can work with those larger vehicles, you can tell how small it is. So if you're on the go, you don't really have a lot of storage space inside your vehicle, this really isn't going to add anything to it. But today we're mainly going to be focusing on what it's going to be like to use this. Today we'll be using the F-150 as an example, but we'd love to see what you're using it with in either a comment or review. Once we're done with that, we'll go over a couple of the specs, maybe some more details about this, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. So to get started, let's turn our jumper on. We'll give us a display, and it's going to be trying to read right now. But you can tell we don't have our clamps connected, and it even tells us to connect those clamps. So I'll do that now. I will say 2 things I have noticed about these so far is you got to squeeze these quite a bit, so they're going to give you a good hold. That's something I do like about it. I will say this cable is a little bit shorter though, so that is something to keep in mind if your battery's in an awkward spot. We'll just connect this up. Once I have this all connected, then we can actually take a closer look at the display. So now that we're connected, you're going to notice a few things. You're going to notice that what our battery is currently at, so that's 12.6 volts, and the amount of power that we're putting out. It'll also say that we can press the jump start button to actually jump start it, and here in the corner we're going to have our current battery level. I've already been kind of connecting this a few times, and this was a little bit lower at the very beginning, but right now that rapid recharge is already working. But to actually do this, I'm just going to press this right here, because you can tell this is going to be our jump start button since it is flashing. That's going to change our display, and now we have a ready symbol over here so we can actually turn on our vehicle. Now if you're not getting ready, sometimes that means that your cables just aren't connected right, or it's just a little bit loose, so you might have to try to reconnect those. Or if it's just having a bad connection for whatever reason, you can hold this down for a longer period of time, and it will force it into that ready stage so you can try to jump start your vehicle. Now that we have it all jumped up and started, you can tell what our display is going to be at this moment. So right now that battery is going to be at 14.2. Now I will say our battery prior to this wasn't dead. We're mainly just using this just to show you what it's going to be like to actually get this set up. And now we can actually tell you a little bit more about how that recharge is going to look like. And when you're all finished up, just make sure you come over here, disconnect. And I also will say there's something nice about these cables is that you can just put these alligator clamps right into these spots. Everything looks pretty neat, especially since those cables are shorter. You don't have to worry about all that extra getting in your way. And once that's done, just make sure you press the on button to turn it off. Now a lot of times when you're working with your battery, you might have some sockets on hand or a screwdriver. In my case today, I actually dropped something down in here and it's really hard to find. This actually has a built-on light to it to help you see in those really dark spots, like in this fascia right here, where I might have dropped something. And actually, I can see what I dropped in there now. So this would be nice if you drop anything on the ground, or if you need to see something a little bit better in your engine. Now let's go into some of the specs about this. So let's say you're out and about, you knock this off from working on your vehicle, it hits the ground or the gravel or pavement. This most likely is going to be able to withstand that since it is super well constructed. And another thing of maintaining it is we're going to have 2 ports back here. We're going to have an input and output. Input uses your USB-C. And this is going to be so if you haven't used this in, let's say, about 12 months, you're probably going to have to recharge that. Now output's going to be if you need to charge anything else, let's say your phone, you have that ability. You can use this like a power bank. And then I can even put this inside our case that comes with it, along with some extra cables to charge this up. And I like this case a lot because it is very nice looking, very compact, and if it does slide around in the back of my vehicle, we're not going to scratch anything up. Now, in my opinion, I think this is going to be a very nice addition to your vehicle, especially since it does recharge itself. It's going to be very compact, and it's just easy to use. But again, if you guys have any other questions, let us know here at eTrailer. Again, I'm Matt, and thanks for watching.